What's up, Buff Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and it is a Monday, December 15th. We are halfway through the month of December. We are only roughly 2 weeks out from the transfer portal officially opening. But as we know, we are getting left and right pretty much every hour. Somebody new hitting the transfer portal. We'll talk about that today. We're going to talk about what's going on with the NCAA in general and how that might affect the Buffs, as a landmark court decision should be coming down the pipe sometime today, potentially while we are live, when it comes to the red shirt rule. And we will see how that might affect the Buffs going forward. And of course, we have Buffs players who are entering the portal, which brings us to the number one topic of the show. And that is, of course, Jaheim Oatis officially announcing that he will be entering the transfer portal. And I know when it comes to most fans out there, they are going to say good riddance. Now, a lot of people out there when it comes to transfer portal season, and a lot of the time when it comes to fans of football teams, they are very quick to denounce, to talk about how a player is not very good and how it's not a big deal that they left. But I think we can all collectively say, as Buffs fans everywhere, that we're not surprised that Jaheim Oatis is leaving. And number two, we're definitely not upset or frustrated with him leaving. And in fact, his leaving should open up quite a big amount of budget when it comes to the Buffs, based on how much they were spending on him as a player and what kind of production he was bringing as said player. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, but of course, you guys are very quick to point out what is going on. The worst money spent besides Salter. That is absolutely correct. Corey and the recruiting staff, terrible at evaluating this one. I'll vote his pack his bats. Oh, I love it. I love it. Bye-bye, buddy. The thing is, when it comes to Otis, no offense to the kid himself, he's a father, he has a family, all this. Good for him on getting the bag for a year. But the fact that he let his God-given talents go to waste, whether that was at Bama or now at Colorado, where we got to see it firsthand, all you had to see and know that Jaheim Oatis was not it was the video that got released from Gilly and them when they came to visit, with him having to go talk to Jaheim Oatis on the side. And they actually filmed that and released that. That to me was a wake-up call for the kid. And even after that, he didn't answer the call. And so that is where we're at with Jaheim Oatis. Now, could he go on to play really well at like a low-level G5 or even an FCS school? Absolutely. Like I said, the guy has some God-given talents, but the work ethic was not there. He was not going to get any better. He was not going to put in the effort that he needed to dominate at this level of football. He could absolutely, just with his size and athleticism, go and play very well next year. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at some low-level school and does really well. And I'm going to hear it from some fans who are going to come back and say, look, Jaheim Oatis, it's all CU's fault. No. Okay, before that happens, we know that is exactly what's going to happen when everything is said and done. Because I don't think a single person is going to come on here and defend Jaheim Oatis and say that it was solely because of the staff or the team or anything like that Jaheim Oatis didn't work out. Now, it is the staff's fault that they brought him in the first place. Let's be honest about that, right? Ole Miss caught. What are we talking about there? I don't know what you're talking about there. Yeah, he could make the lead, but he doesn't have the drive. Exactly. He has the God-given talent that he could be an NFL player. The size, the ability is there. The effort was not. You would think a young dad with promising future would work hard to be able to sort his family. He just could not do it. He could not do it. He is done with football. I don't think he's done with football, Cam. I think, trust me, some of the lower levels he could, like I said, like the commenter just said, he could make it in the league. He doesn't have the drive. That's just on God-given abilities. Like, he could show up to a lower level and do that. I know. He is a grown man. Lesson, don't grab Alabama players hitting the portal. Yeah, unless they're an Isaiah Bond, unless they're an absolute dog and proven player on Alabama that Alabama's pissed they're losing. Corey Phillips said, my bad. Hey, I was excited about him too because again, the God-given talent is there. The raw ability is there. You can see it. It's his ability to actually play. This too darn lazy. All I remember is Seton telling him he got one move during summer workouts. Yep. And I said, man, we really got catfished. Yeah. Seton calling him out. Absolutely sad and terrible for Jaheim Oatis. Didn't we bring in an O-line from Ole Miss, Poly guy with wife and kids, Texas A&M O-line that was in video with Tyler Brown competing for the strongest guy on the team? I don't remember who we're talking about, David. I can't think of it. Somebody in the chat might be able to tell you who that was. You got it. I can't be showing that stuff. I got to try and keep it somewhat PG-13 around here for the YouTube algorithm and the sponsors if I want any. Okay, but I appreciate it. That was hilarious. If Bama didn't want him, what do y'all expect was going to happen with Otis? There's one thing between Bama not wanting him and them leaving. We don't know the exact thing of what happens, okay? Bama doesn't come out and announce and say, hey, we don't like this guy, okay? Did Bama not want Isaiah Bond? Like, again, there's differences in how those players say. Just because they're leaving a top-end program does not mean they're not a top-end player. But if they have no tape and they're not doing absolutely anything in that program, that's a little bit different too. Recruiting staff is looking at the ratings and stars to determine how good these players are instead of actually evaluating film, and that's how you end up with a bust like this. Robbie, I can't say you're not wrong on this one. I cannot say you're not wrong on this. Oh, you're Taimani. Mana Taimani. I think that's what you're saying. I love you, Gotti. What's the Texas A&M guy? He got big iced out chains around his neck and his bag. Fitamade, welcome in. Appreciate you. Yeah, Corey Phillips caught on the high profile names instead of doing their homework with these portal. And can we also say now, before the portal opens and before these guys get ranked in the portal, can we just stop it with this whole, 3-star, 4-star? Why don't we have more 4-star transfer portal players? When Jaheim Oatis was the highest ranked transfer portal player by 24/7. So let's not worry about that when Colorado starts grabbing 3-star and no-star players out of the portal and we start to say how Colorado is missing left and right. Okay? We'll start that now. Okay? And I'll even hold myself to it. Okay? There are a few players that I already like that are in the portal. And we've already talked about a couple guys that brought it up. There are about 4 Sacramento State guys that I do want. And before anybody says, oh, great, you're going to go get Sacramento State's rejects, it is the 4 best players on Sacramento State. The 2 best players on offense, the 2 best players on defense. Those are the ones that I would love to come see play at Colorado. Just saying. Give a poor young man from Mississippi $800K. He ain't thinking NFL. $800K is a lottery. You're not wrong there to an extent. What happened to Tyler Brown? He spotlighted on the team for a while, then just gone. Injuries, Rick, injuries. Just decimated Tyler Brown. He never lived up to expectations. Was always chasing things. That's where it's at. Elijah Brooks, look him up when you get a chance, Russ. I think I've seen him already. Okay, so yeah, you think he's the new running backs coach. He's coming from Virginia Tech. Twitter got better film evaluators than the staff, and I'm one of them. I know for a fact there's a lot of people that I trust on Twitter evaluating players more than I do some of the people we've had on the staff. But here's the thing when it comes to that. The staff has changed. After I went live, of course, we heard the news, and I guess I should talk about this too. It was literally as I was leaving. I apologize to the chat. Literally, as you guys are putting in the chat, I'm in a different spot in the window. Like, as I'm leaving, breaking news happening. It doesn't mean I'm going to stay on and can cover it. But obviously, Darden Box gets promoted to Corey Phillips' job. On one hand, I didn't love it at first. Okay, and here's why. Because, again, I thought, great, here's just, Corey Phillips incarnate taking over the job. On the other hand, the more that I looked into this, the more that I felt like maybe perhaps Darden Box was held back by Corey Phillips and the decisions he had. And then on top of that, we see that several of the other recruiting staff were let go, including Alexis, who was on the staff as well. So it looks like Darden Box, while he is getting promoted, might be putting his own spin on the recruiting department and recruiting in general, which I like to see. To me, that tells me that perhaps Darden Box has some different ideas on how to recruit, and he was just more held back by the fact that he had to follow along with the lead that his boss had in place. Do you know what I mean? I hope you guys get what I'm saying with that. So with Darden Box as your recruiter, let's see what he does. Let's see what he's able to do. But I also wonder if by promoting from within, if it also is partially because the new OC might have a bigger hand in recruiting as well. And why would an outside person want to come and take over this type of job, when it might be seen as not necessarily the position that you would think it is, because you may not have all of the responsibility and answers. What's better? Recruit somebody who may be hungry in that role from the department that may also be a little bit more open to the idea of, hey, we'll give you this promotion, but you have to understand that, Brennan over here, our OC, is going to have more of a say when it comes to recruiting, at least especially on the offensive side of the ball. You tell me if I'm like completely off on that, okay? You tell me if I'm completely off on that. Yeah, let the news play out before we start naming coaches, please. Thanks. What does him being from Mississippi have to just didn't work out? Hopefully Box looks at his Twitter feed and actually recruits in-state kids. I will say, I've seen a lot of interaction with Box online, and Box, when it comes to Gotti, all the people on Twitter that do really good video breakdowns, Box is usually on top of those ones. I didn't see Corey as much, but Box was always in the spaces when we were chatting about this stuff, when we were chatting with players, when we were doing all that stuff. So Box was kind of out there doing his own thing for a long time. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll have to see what's said. Yeah, I know. He did say that he is locked in. Now here's the thing here, Mom. We've heard different things over the course of the year. Last year, if you remember, Matt was all about Andre Girard, his best friend, getting hired and how he thought that was going to change the narrative and what happened. It didn't. So we'll see. I hope that an OC, though, versus a position coach has a little bit more wiggle room and say when it comes to what happens recruiting-wise. Appreciate Team FB. Welcome in, Create TV. Appreciate you dropping by as well. Yeah, the new OC coach recruiting a lot of trenches in Texas area. He's making a lot of big moves. Yeah, there's already a lot of offers coming through that you can definitely tell has Brennan Marion listed all over it. Okay? Listed all over it. And that could very well be what happened. I will say, though, like I said, Matt was excited at first because he thought that he was going to have a direct line of contact to that. And then we got not a single Colorado O-lineman except for the one that we got that was way down the list. I think Coach Box and Brennan will work together. That's my assumption. Again, that's why I said my thoughts on why Box might have got promoted versus bringing an outside guy in. I don't know if an outside person looking at that job would say, yeah, I want that job, if it means sharing and having to kind of listen to other people on the staff versus you getting to make those decisions a little bit bigger. Yep, CU did offer a really good 3-star out of DeSoto, Texas. I saw that one. Good riddance, Otis. Him and Barnes, god-awful. Biggest reason our run defense was bad. That, no depth on the defensive line. I hope that BDS stays because I like the kid and I like having that depth. I think he's okay, but I think if we had some really good, decent, talented defensive linemen, BDS wouldn't see the field as much as we saw him. He saw the field because of how bad Otis and Barnes ended up being. There it is. Aki Ogunbiyi, yep, he had one whole video centered around him, hasn't been able to make a play. I know he had some injury issues as well. Portal opens in 3 weeks. We literally have 3 weeks, 25 days to look at portal film from all ranks. No excuse. Get the money right and all in 25 days. And Gotti, you have to imagine the Box, Marion is already on campus. He is working his butt off. Like I said, Marion, I truly do think he is the head coach in waiting. Just his actions, his ability to get going, how hard the kid works already and has worked at his different stops. I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, go check out my profile video, by the way, on Brennan Marion if you have not already. Share it with people you know. It's doing pretty well, but it could be doing better. It could be doing better. Looks like we're about over 6,000 views on that video. We can pop that off a little bit more. That's true regarding BDS. Yeah, I like what BDS had. He's only a redshirt freshman, soon to be sophomore. I think he can develop and grow and get some more muscle and get bigger. That's why I want him to stick around. I think he's heading into his better days. But that can't be who we have our hopes and dreams on. So if he were to somehow, for some reason, leave, that would suck because I think, again, he's an example of us having to be patient and wait and develop a player. And I think that he could absolutely come back. CU has to hit on those trench players. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, your mom. You're absolutely right. What makes you think he will stay here? Oh, here we go. Here we go again. Buddy, we're not going to get into this today. I get you. He's a job jumper, but wouldn't you be too? I'm a job jumper if I'm getting promoted every step of the way. It's not like he's getting fired and jumping or he's taking lower end jobs. He's been trying to work his way up to this point. The only way he's leaving next year is if Brennan Marion gets a Power 4 head coaching job. And if he gets a Power 4 head coaching job, it means that he was absolutely unbelievable here as the OC. Because we said the same thing about Robert Livingston, how he was going to be jumping ship soon because he was so great and he took a step back. I would prefer him having taken a step ahead and this year being in talks to take a head coaching job elsewhere because of how great he did. You want your OCs and DCs to be in talks for other places when it comes to head coaching jobs. Like, Brennan Marion's not just going to jump ship to go take an OC job at an FCS or a head coaching job at FCS. He just came from an FCS head coaching job. He's only going to leave if it's a head coaching job at a bigger school, and that means that the go-go worked here. That means that the go-go worked here. So isn't that what you want? Russ, you crack me up getting overly excited in the chat comments. Travis, I know. Hey, it's my way of interacting with everybody. It happens. I'm saying if he becomes head coach, he will jump like Mel Tucker. So you think that if Brennan Marion comes here and be the OC for, let's say, 3 seasons, and then he becomes the head coach after prime, and he's built up all of these players, and he's built up all of this stuff, that you think he's just going to jump ship overnight to Mel Tucker? I don't know. I don't know about that. I really don't know. Buddy, what you're doing is you're projecting your trauma and saying that that's whatever's going to happen. This is like you saying, well, my girlfriend cheated on me, so every girlfriend after this is going to cheat on me. What's going to stop them from cheating on me? I mean, if you don't want to trust anyone, then don't trust anyone. Just don't do it. Don't trust anyone. All the players recruiting staff brought in. Who cares if he jumps? Stay focused on 2026. Absolutely. I mean, you can live your life that way, but, I'm just saying. So he has to come out and let these recruits know who will be on offense. Honestly, you can't trust any of the linemen coming back other than Seton. The other guys wouldn't stay anywhere else. Okay, let's bring up this. True. I get it, buddy. We all have that issue. You got to overcome it a little bit. We have Buffs trauma. I remember RK. What was he talking about? That's Buff stuff. I'll use that word instead of it. Yeah, and this year was Buff stuff again. We get 1 year where we break out, get a Heisman Trophy winner and 9 wins. We think it's over, and then we come right back down, here. I love this. And let's be honest, buddy. Can you not tell me, did the Mel Tucker thing kind of work out? Because did you want Mel Tucker after what happened at Michigan State? And now because of the Mel Tucker stuff, you could essentially say we ended up with Coach Prime as a result. So in my case, Mel Tucker is actually not a black eye on the university like we thought. And we got a bunch of new facilities out of the Mel Tucker stuff. So that helped it as well. You got to retain talent. You're all talking crazy. You got to retain some of the talent, Steve. I'd say I would do. There's definitely I'd say there's probably like 10 to 15 guys I would love to retain on this roster. For sure. He's trash. Good riddance. Stop living in hell. That's right, Travis. That's right. That's the conversation we had. Stop living in hell. We don't have to force ourselves to live in hell. Okay? Let's enjoy the moment, guys. And the reason why I am so hyped up and pumped for Brennan Marion is the more that I've looked into the guy, the more that I've heard him speak, the more that I see how many coaches respect him. No matter what, all I know is for 2026, he is definitely going to bring an improved offense over what Colorado has had, probably in a very long time, even past Coach Prime. It's funny. Some people on X think Otis will be a top defensive tackle in the portal. Kai, I saw the main national posts about Jaheim Oatis hitting the portal. And the one thing that I laughed about was the fans saying that we want him here. I saw a lot of Florida fans saying they want him. And I had to be like, you can have him. Like, you don't understand. This isn't a case of like us being scorned by a player like Nebraska is right now with Dylan Raiola, where they're like, Dylan Raiola is absolutely horrendous after 2 years of defending him and defending all his antics and defending all that stuff. They turn on him just like that and act like he's not good. This is not that case, and national fans are going to find out very quickly. If Florida wants him and wants to pay a lot of money for him because somehow that happens, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that happen. I'm focused on 2027. I think that's when we run the table. Gotti, I would agree with that. I would agree with that because this year there will be some growing pains, and especially because the high school recruiting wasn't great. And now with new staff and hopefully Brendan Marion in place for more than a year where he can recruit a lot of guys as well, I think the 2027 class could be a very, very key, crucial class. I will say that. I will say that. He will be for top for FCS schools. Absolutely. Like I said, just on talent alone, he could go out there and not practice and probably do pretty well at some of the mid-range FCS schools. There's some definite handprints on Marion on this roster this year. The people they're targeting have specific traits they want. And they're going to have to be because the go-go, you can get away with specific type of players in the go-go offense, which again is what I talked about in that video. It is an offense. The quote that I heard from a coach say is, it is the offense for the school without the 5-star talent. Okay? That is what's so great about it. I hope Raiola balls out. I'm going to laugh when he does just to throw it back in Nebraska fans' face, although I hate the kid. And it sounds like, by the way, I'll give you a list. Because I was given a list of potential stops for all of the quarterbacks in the portal, by the way, on where they could end up. Here is the early clubhouse thing on where players might end up, guys. See if you agree with me on this. Okay? Sam Levitt, ASU. He is going to end up, I think, at LSU. Brendan Sorsby, I like him going to Indiana to replace Mendoza. I think he is a Kurt Signetti type of guy. I think that he could work well over there. Dylan Raiola, I think he ends up at Oregon. DJ Lagway, I think the perfect spot for DJ Lagway where he could absolutely ball out and show Florida fans that them just like writing him off like they are right now. And because technically to me, I think Florida absolutely ruined Lagway. DJ Lagway, Tennessee. And then for Miami, I think I've got Aiden Childs from MSU. I think Aiden Childs could go to Miami. So that's where I think. Or, yes, Sorsby to Tech is probably the other one. Sorsby to Texas Tech is absolutely the other one. Yes, they're correct. Texas Tech already said they're not going after Raiola. Levitt to Oregon could work too. I could. I think the Big 12 is a good fit for Raiola. I don't think he ends up, though, at Texas Tech. Yep. That's my point. The go-go could be a great way to overcome a deficiency of talent. You don't need talent across the board. The go-go is not an offense that should work. It could work, right? But it doesn't need to work at a place like Georgia or Ohio State or Michigan or Texas A&M or Texas Tech, the schools that are going to pay a lot of money, we're talking Moneyball now. We're talking Moneyball now, guys. We can get talent that's perfect for the go-go. What if Lagway's coming to LSU and that's why Lane is trolling them? That'd be hilarious. Yeah, that's true. Sorsby girlfriend did transfer to Texas Tech. That could be in there too. It was another one. I think that could end up as well. You know what another quarterback that could enter the portal is that I think we need to keep an eye on? Another Big 12 quarterback that could leave. What about TCU's quarterback? I could see Josh Hoover hitting the portal and going to get big money. You don't think a school like a Miami or a Texas Tech wouldn't throw millions upon millions of dollars at a guy like Josh Hoover if he were to enter the portal? I mean, at this point, can we say Josh Hoover would be a top 2 quarterback in this portal right now with the players that are hitting there? I mean, I'm ready. Yeah, we need that go-go Nike shirt, you know? I'm sure Prime's already talked to him about a deal. Yeah, Josh Hoover. TCU has a lot of money. I mean, if they want to pay him, sure. But Hoover would go big time out there. John Beckheim tagged Box under his post. I could see I could see Hoover at least testing the waters. I want go-go dancers at the stands. Travis. Lil Bucket, I don't think I'm going to list this out for you guys now, especially with the go-go. We don't need our receivers as much as our receivers need us. Okay? We could go out and get a lot of different receivers in the portal and probably not spend a ton of money and they'd be perfect in this offense because of the way that it works. We need guys who can block. Let's be honest. We need receivers that can block in the go-go. And right now, none of our receivers can do that. Am I right? Am I right? I think Avery Johnson, that's an interesting one. I think he stays. I don't know if he'd be in that. Out of those quarterbacks I just listed, he would be below all of them, I feel like. Am I crazy in thinking that? Because I thought he regressed so bad this year. I mean, he has no throwing ability. His only ability is running. Yeah, see what I mean? Draylon Miller needs us at this point more than we need him. So we don't necessarily have to like pay an arm and a leg to keep him. We could get a lot of different stuff. Yep, you need running backs that can block and catch as well. Absolutely. Yeah, Avery Stan, the coach there now, is the one that brought him in. Hoover to Nebraska, Lagway to Kansas. I don't think either of that's happening. Nebraska does not have the money to get Hoover. No way. I'm ready to hop on here 2027 when Juju's in the transfer portal. Go for it. I'll wait for you then. We'll see you then. That's what I'm worried about if I'm CH. Did Timmons get a medical red shirt? He was their best blocking receiver. Yeah, but he didn't play at all this year. I wouldn't stay if I were him. Yeah, we're still low at high school recruits, but I'm going to wait till the final signing day. I have a feeling we'll get a couple more guys. I think when it's all said and done, we're probably going to end around 15, which is what Prime says he wants, 15 to 17. It is what it is. That's what he says. But Russ, we don't have the running back right now to go crazy. If we pick up a crazy running back, I can see we don't need the receivers. We're definitely going to be in the market for a running back. I think, well, and again, don't sleep on the fact that I think we could get Henderson from Sac State. I mean, if it opens up enough space, I don't know what Draylon is getting. Nebraska has a lot of money, believe me. Well, they didn't have enough money to keep Raiola. They didn't have enough money to keep enough players. They have a worse high school recruiting class than us for a school that has a lot of money. People can say that, but Nebraska's in way worse shape right now than Colorado is. Volleyball school, Cam. Brendan Marion offered that kid from DeSoto. Yep, I saw that. No, Dre has not hit the portal. Let's not start any rumors. We're not doing that. I'm killing that right now. There is nothing out there. I simply said that, if Draylon, or honestly, at this point, if any receiver in our receiving room were to leave, it should not be the end of the world. Receivers are a dime or a dozen when it comes to college football. There are only a few that are elite that, yes, you go after. Like if again, I'm not saying he's going, but I'm just saying, if like Cam Coleman hit the portal, he is going to be in the highest of demand and people are going to pay him millions of dollars. If Omarion Miller hits the portal, he's going to be in demand, but I don't think he's going to gain or garner the type of money that a defensive lineman or offensive lineman might if they hit the portal and they're that good. That's all I'm saying. I mean, they're going to have to learn to block in this system. If they want to stick around, they better know they're learning to block. Yes, trust me. I want Pat Surtain. If Pat Surtain gets announced as the DB's coach or some kind of coach on this team, I'm going to freak out just as much as I freaked out about Brendan Marion. That is an absolute must. I get it. But we need two running backs. We need a shifty back and we need a bigger back. You need both of those in this system. Young generations aren't trying to go play cornball at Nebraska. Miami or other cities equal more attractive to the youth. What do I know? I think the days of, and again, this comes from somebody, by the way, I have a lot of family who are Nebraska fans. I've followed Nebraska football my whole life, not only being a Buffs fan, but again, having family members associated with that team. The Nebraska name just does not have the same luster that it did, just like Colorado didn't until Coach Prime came. Coach Prime definitely elevated us back into, obviously, the pop culture name. The players now think it's cool to associate with that. But the days of Nebraska being that powerhouse that everybody saw on their TVs and everybody, witnessed and thought were really cool, it ended. It ended probably, post-Sioux. The Domicon Sioux put Nebraska back on the map for a little bit, and you thought they might be able to use that to garner and keep that going. And it's just kind of, bad coaching decisions that they made, hiring, Frost, Pelini didn't do great there. Him getting fired, I think, was also a mistake when they did it, because I don't think he was that bad of a coach, but they thought they could do better, and instead they did worse. Like, no matter what you want to think, I would love for them to get back to where they were and for us to get that rivalry going again, because there was nothing like it. But, you need a receiving back and a blocking back. Absolutely, Darian, you were right. That is what the Go-Go needs. That is where it's at. Buddy, Pat Surtain is not an NFL coach. Pat Surtain has been coaching college and is one of the best recruiters in the country. Go ask Florida State fans if that's what you're talking about, by the way. This was a little bit different than just hiring one of Prime's friends who have never coached before. Who you think make more money, Otis or Salter? From what I've heard, both were about the same. I know Robbie's saying Salter more, but I think they were both in the same ballpark, around $800K. They were both. Hey, Amir Abdullah, that was that same time frame. So you had Abdullah on the offense. You had Ndamukong Suh in there on the defense. Yeah. Off topic. Anyone watch? We're going to TV shows. Nebraska is far gone from the glory years of Tom Osborne and Frank Solich. And they had decent 2000s. Heck, like I said, when Suh was there, they were making some noise. I still think, I will say this, as a Nebraska hater, I will still say that Ndamukong Suh got gypped for the Heisman. I'll say it right now. Ndamukong Suh should have been in talks for the Heisman and probably should have won the Heisman. Yep, more than Notre Dame, but at least Notre Dame has made the playoffs. That's true. Melvin Gordon going 400 yards on them ended Nebraska. I remember that. I was watching that game with family members. They did around 800, yeah. Coach Prime has made Colorado joke. Okay. Airman Duke, I've talked about this before. You want to be in the chat? Actually provide substance. You're just a bot at this point with what you say. None of it has substance. Congrats to Salt to the big check. Bravo. Now right off in the sunset. Oh, trust me, he's enjoying that money. That's all I'll say about that. If I'm Coach Prime in Colorado, I would let Marion recruit who and whatever he wants. This is his offense. Oh, trust me. If I'm this team, if I'm Marion, I wouldn't have even accepted this job unless I had full autonomy of the offense, which I feel like he has. And we've already seen it. He is dove straight in. Recruits, grabbing his high school kids from Sac State that he worked on, grabbing portal guys from Sac State, which I'm pretty sure are coming to Colorado. Marion's cooking fast. It would be nice to get a goal line fullback, big back like that, get some extra yards, a shifty guy. I wonder what that type of position would look like in this formation. You know? But I've seen it a little bit too, by the way. I've seen it a little bit too in watching some of his plays. He brings a tight end quite frequently into the backfield as well. He's not recruiting. I mean, he's recruiting everywhere. He knows what he wants, which I love. Again, this is why I like Brennan Marion's hire. What's good, Northside? Appreciate you dropping by as always. No worries on coming in late. We're just enjoying ourselves on this Monday, vibing with 400 plus people. That is 5 straight streams, by the way, that you guys have popped off for over 400. I think we're getting a much more stable contingency of people here, which I absolutely appreciate. Like I said, we're at, by the way, sub-wise, guys, just real quick to update you, 5,960 subs. Okay? That means we are 40 away from the big 6. That will be the fastest increase this channel has had of 1,000 subs since I started 2 years ago. That'll be the fastest 1,000 because we were stuck at 5,000 for almost the whole season. And then once we hit over 5,000, we just exploded up out of there. So thank you guys so much for doing that. I hope Prime hires someone to help him with game management timeouts. I'm sure Marion's going to have a lot to say with that, guys. I'm sure Marion is going to have a lot to say with that. Won't be a Big 12 championship this season, but this is the right direction. Team FB, I said this and people got mad at me. Okay? And I'm going to be honest with this. Okay? I know. We need to get those likes up. But I'm going to be honest with this. Okay? And people are going to call me haters. There's going to be people out there that are going to think this is stupid. There's going to be people who are going to not be okay with this. But honestly, a 6-7 win season after last year, I get that after 2 years ago, but when you regress as much as Colorado did in the win-loss column, you got to take baby steps. You can't go from 3 wins to 12 wins overnight and have that as an expectation when it comes to being a fan. Now, can Prime have that expectation? Can the coaches? Is that what they're shooting for? Are they always shooting for Big 12 championship and playoff? Absolutely, and they should be. But as fans, I'm going to be happy if we get back to bowl game again after a 3-win season. Okay? I'm going to be realistic with that. I get that a lot from people. Some fans say that I'm too positive and some fans say I'm not positive enough. And it's kind of crazy to me, but I just want to be a fan. That's what I want to be. I want to be a fan of this team. I want to cheer for the best. And I want to set my expectations right. So I mean, for me, 6-7 wins are good. Yes, I do. I do think that Livingston will be in the hot seat this upcoming season. I think he's not, like I said, I never said that he was going to get fired because, yeah, while everything sucked, I also wondered how much of it was personnel. He gets 1 more year to build his personnel. He better hit on his defensive selections this year and get himself a team, or otherwise, yes, he's on the hot seat for how much he's making. Yeah. Who got in the bowl game? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yep. And let's just go ahead and do this. Again, I told you, actually provide some input. I'm not banning you, but guess what? You are going to go in timeout. Northside, pretty positive. 8 wins. Okay. I'm not going to lie. If Prime can't make a Big 12 chip with a Heisman winner and a top 5 quarterback, you'll probably never. Darian, here's the thing. I will say this. I think that team was more of a 5 or 6 win team, but the Heisman winner and top 5 quarterback got us to the 9 wins and 1 game away from the Big 12 championship. But that offensive line was atrocious. This year's offensive line was even more improved than that. And you saw what we did in the win-loss column. So I don't think you can say that. I think if anything, what we found out this year from last year was we overachieved because of the Heisman winner and top 5 quarterback. And honestly, that Heisman winner and top 5 quarterback helped Pat Shurmur keep his job for 1 extra year. And I said it going into the year, let's see if Shurmur was the problem or if Shedeur was the problem. Well, I think we can now lean a little bit more on Shurmur being the problem than Shedeur. Just need to try and get that bowl game. Yep, we're going bowling next year. Yep, I think so too. 6-7 wins, that's where I'm at. I'm waiting on predictions until we see where the transfers land. Absolutely, buddy, I get that. But I'm saying, we need to hit on our transfers. I mean, Prime better be hitting on that transfers. Make it 6 to 8 wins realistic, but the right portal players, we could have something going. Absolutely. That's the thing about the portal, guys. The portal can change things overnight for a team. Absolutely. But, let's see what we got. Imagine how far along we could be if our recruiting staff was really pulling in dudes since Prime walked through that door. Agreed. Texas Tech is all that. It was both coaching and personnel. Yeah, well, Indiana too. 7 wins in the Big 12. That's what people are. I hate the people sleep in the Big 12, by the way. I like the haters, unsure. 8 at most. Hey, you guys get it? I could see that maybe afterwards. We'd have to see the circumstances, though. Who you got? Yeah, Otis was a waste. Trust me. There you go. Expect nothing, but be grateful for it all. Tune-up year is a good way to say it, Northside. Floor 7, ceiling 10. I'm not ready to do floor ceiling. Floor ceiling to me is based on talent. I'm just saying expectations of what, should be the minimum standard, I think, is why I say 6 wins. I mean, we need a minimum 6 wins next year and improve. If we don't do that, then absolutely, I think Prime could be on the hot seat just in case of that. Because if you go again and win 4 or 5 games again next year, that's not really an improvement on this year. Yep. CU is centered around 2 great players. You need more than 2 great players. CU can still make a run. Yeah, we had a below average team with 2 amazing players. We need at least minimum an average team with a couple of great players. That's how you compete at the top level as far as conference championship. Not necessarily national championship, but talks to go to that conference championship. How you feel about the Sac State? Yep. So the Sac State safety and the defensive linemen are the 2 guys that I said are the best players on defense for Sac State. And then on offense, the 2 best players are going to be Jose Soto, the guard, and Ernest Campbell, the receiver. Those 4 players on offense and defense, those should be who Colorado goes after. I'd be happy to get them. I think they would be great gets for Colorado, and I think they're probably coming to Colorado. Texas Tech got someone willing to cut that check. Sadly, Colorado doesn't have that. Otherwise, Coach Prime would be a Colorado as a powerhouse. Well, because then you just spend whatever you want. That's unlimited funds. Just spend like crazy. What that means, if you have unlimited funds like Texas Tech, because I guarantee you, Texas Tech has a few players that they added from the transfer portal, probably paid a good penny. Okay? Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. This is the difference between some teams and some of the others. Texas Tech and teams like that have like a blank check to pay for players. I guarantee you that there were some players they added in the transfer portal that you have no clue that they were paid a lot of money and did nothing. Okay? But because they have so much money, when they miss on a player that they spend a lot of money on, they spend a lot of money on a lot of players. As long as most of them hit, you see what Texas Tech does. They become the team that they did. But when it's Colorado and other teams like that, if they spend a good chunk of their money on a few players in the portal and they don't hit, i.e. the title of today's show, Jaheim Oatis, you're going to have issues for the year. So that's the difference. We're playing Moneyball, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a blank check to just go throw $1 million here, $1 million here, $1 million here over and over again and bring in $20 million players. No, we've got to bring in $5 million players and then fill it out with a bunch of other players that we hope one of them or a couple of them hit value-wise. Okay? So that's what you got to realize. That's what you got to realize. Do we know who our out-of-conference games are against? Yes. Yes, we do. And yeah, Cam brought it up. Georgia Tech, Northwestern, and Weber State. By the way, guys, every single day, that Georgia Tech game, by the way, looks more and more winnable. Not only did it look like they lost their offensive coordinator, which may not be a big deal because some say their head coach was more of the guy pulling the strings on that, but then the offensive coordinator took a majority of Georgia Tech's staff. And then today it finds out that DJ Lagway is leaving Florida because the coaching staff wasn't really in him. And now it is reported that next year's Georgia Tech starting quarterback may be heading to Florida. So to my good old Georgia Tech fan in the chat, by the way, if you're still here, I do apologize. I was looking forward to that matchup being a very, very difficult one. It probably is still going to be difficult depending on who Colorado adds. But the fact is, Colorado, yeah. That game is getting easier and easier. But not for a single player. They're using that $30 million on like 20 really good players who are starting for them. Marion doesn't come to the program with so many eyes on it just to fail. I see you surprising people. I could see that too. When Coach Prime wins, it's with defense. First two Buffs have to come with it or it's another bum season. $5 million is enough. The coaching can make a difference. Okay, yep. The go-go offense with the talent CU has will have is going to be hard to defend. Yeah, it's going to help with the offense for sure. Georgia Tech will still be a tough game. They always play tough. Oh, I said that. I'm just saying it's getting easier. I didn't say it was going to be an easy game. I said it was getting easier as every day goes by based on who they're losing. Because honestly, Andrew Philo, their backup quarterback, he could be even better than Haynes King in a way because I feel like Andrew Philo is a better passer than Haynes King. Probably not as good of a runner, but still a good runner in his own right. So losing Andrew Philo after losing Haynes King is crazy stuff. I didn't say it was going to be easy. I said easier. Easier. We better be ready. That's right. Set that tone. Russ, most surprising in play name entering the portal thus far? I mean, actually have entered the portal. Most surprising name that has already announced that they're any. I mean, it has to be one of the quarterbacks, but even then, you're kind of not surprised that those quarterbacks. I mean, maybe DJ Lagway. I'm just not plugged into Florida to realize he was going to leave. And it sounds like he didn't want to leave. That might be, but Sorsby maybe? Because I didn't think he was going to leave Cincinnati. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's the players. I've seen good scheme and guys getting beat. We need better talent. On defense, we do. I'm saying 3-0 out of conference then. Buddy's calling it now. Okay. I've made Buddy a believer in the go-go. I've made Buddy a believer in the go-go. I mean, I think 2-0 out of conference. I think the hardest one is going to be Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. I mean, I would not be surprised if we lose that game. But like I said, every day it gets easier and easier with every announcement towards Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech could fix that because I said the same thing last year when they lost Rivers, the wide receiver in the transfer portal, and then they went and replaced him. So, you know. I see Lagway at Baylor. Pretty sure his dad went. Yeah, he does have connections to Baylor. I could see that as a good ad. Baylor would be smart to go get him. But man, him at Tennessee would absolutely eat. Yes, I said Levitt to LSU. That's what I thought. Texas lost their starting linebacker to the portal. If that's the case, go get him. Get him in the Bowling Green linebacker, and I would say Colorado's ready to compete. I would say right there, Colorado's ready to compete and be much better than they were. That'd be crazy. I get the feeling that the go-go offense will catch people off guard and by surprise. Marion seems start. Well, here's what I love about the go-go offense, okay? Because a lot of people are going to say, hey, eventually people will figure out the go-go offense. It's gimmicky, blah, blah, blah. That's not what the go-go offense actually is. The go-go offense is not simply an option offense or simply a wishbone offense or a pistol offense. It is constantly evolving, and the idea of the go-go is just how much misdirection can we create in the fastest way possible, okay? Those are two things that I absolutely see being very different. Looking forward to us scrimmaging Syracuse to see what we look like. I hope we get that scrimmage going, guys. I hope we get that scrimmage going. Coach Hart better get his Polynesian accent up because the young man is going to a West Coast team, unfortunately. Well, let's see what happens. UNLV still using the go-go. Yep, but they don't have the mastermind behind the go-go. So, they can't necessarily scheme up new things from it. They're just using the same go-go that Marion left with. Shotgun wing tee. I mean, again, we can put labels on the go-go all we want. The go-go is the go-go. That's all I can say from looking it up. The go-go is the go-go. Brendan Marion says the go-go is organic. Exactly. You could just go watch my profile video where I explain about the go-go, where I explain about Brendan Marion. I break all of that down and talk about what it does, what it can't do, all that. It is just, it's everyone's trying to put it in a box because, to be honest, we have not seen a big revolution in college football offenses. I mean, people admit it. Since what? The air raid, the West Coast, the Mike Leach offense. Is there any other offense that has come out since Mike Leach offense that has really revolutionized the game, you guys think? I mean, the Wildcat, to agree, was in there. I can't remember if the Wildcat came before or after all that. You guys let me know. What up, Big Mike? Appreciate you dropping by. Go-go offense is magical, which is why so many people interviewed him about his offense and why he does so many clinics and why so many coaches love, talking with Brendan Marion. Absolutely. Fat guys have to execute the scheme. It's a cool system, but guys got to perform. And here's the big thing that I love about Brendan Marion. If you will not perform, he's not going to hesitate taking you out. As he said, my favorite quote that I heard, not from Brendan Marion, by the way, from one of Brendan Marion's closest friends, when he described Brendan Marion and his offense, his description was, okay, no block, no rock. If you're not going to block, you're not getting the ball, you're not going to be in this offense. Dennis is right. Putting fancy names on an offense isn't going to magically turn this into a 10-win team right away. If it was such an offense, everyone would run it. It's brand new, Darian. It's brand new. And I didn't say it's going to make us a 10-win team right away. And I don't know who's saying that it's going to make us a 10-win team. I literally said 6 or 7 wins is what I get out of this offense and this team. Now, if the defense can drastically improve and the offense can do what it should, could it be a 10-win team? I just don't think the defense is going to improve that much that it's going to make that big of a difference. The offense can make a bigger difference, but that's where I said 6 to 7 wins. Okay? That's where I'm at. Remember, guys, all the talent don't just come from Power 4. Look at Josh Allen. He played at Wyoming. Absolutely a live tree. It's not about stars and stripes. I mean, Josh Allen had no... Have you guys heard Josh Allen's story of how he ended up at Wyoming? Like, he tried to get on anywhere. I mean, there was literal FCS programs that wouldn't take Josh Allen. And he just magically found his way to Wyoming. They took a chance on him. He went there, and look at what he did. There's always those players that have that. Yes, Russ, CU is on the horizon of potential offensive revolution. Go-Go never had a 5-star in the driver's seat. I think Brendan Marion is excited about this opportunity. That's true, too. That's true, too, and it's at the highest level. People can say what they want, but the Big 12 is there. I need proof for real. Not going to get caught up on it. I love the new dude. I mean, he's everywhere he's gone. He has had little bits and pieces to do with it. Texas and Sarkisian has even said the little bit of influence he had on the passing game while he was there. Xavier Worthy, who absolutely excelled at Texas, has said what Brendan Marion was able to do. I'm telling you, every stop of the way that he has coached has had an effect. You've seen an improvement once Brendan Marion's joined the staff. Is the go-go hard to execute? Like, players have to do the right thing or it's a bust? So it's not necessarily hard to execute. And the fact is, and I'll go back to this, buddy. You know how you said that, Brennan is a job jumper. The fact is he has been a job jumper, but everywhere he's gone, the offense has gotten better, has exceeded, has succeeded under him. You can't do that if it's difficult to learn, because you would have to say that, oh, he needs a couple years to implement his offense for people to really understand it and know what to do and know how to do it. And yet he goes into these new teams very quickly, and he's able to implement it very quickly with any level of talent. That right there shows you that it's not hard to execute. Now, the difference is, and why I'm excited for it at this level, is I think he can get even better skill using this offense. And I'm wondering what the better skill is going to be able to exploit in this offense. So those are, UNLV learned it in one offseason and absolutely crushed it year one. Okay. Sacramento State last year. Yes, they only went 7-5. I get that. That doesn't look sexy, but remember, he's a head coach. So he's coaching both ways. Defense wasn't great, but Sacramento State's offense was a high-flying, high-powerful offense that exploded compared to past years of Sac State, set records for Sacramento State football. So it definitely makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Yeah, Texas Tech had the creator of the air raid in the driver's seat for years, and it worked for a while, but every team figures out the gimmicks eventually. That's why I like the go-go, and why I think it's going to change the game and not just be another air raid. Because yes, the air raid was a driver's seat for a few years till people figured it out, because it was a one-trick pony. Like, it had one specific thing to do. The thing I like about the go-go and why people have been talking about it and why coaches have been looking at it so thoroughly is because of how organic it is, how different it is, how it is constantly changing. So once people figure out a certain aspect of it, you can change it again. The thing is, there is a reason why the option offense is still in existence, why the triple offense is still in existence, why some of the military schools have had some of the biggest upsets in the history of college sports, is because the option is very difficult, even when you know what's coming, because of how many choices you have within it. And if you can run it perfectly, you can always find some kind of success out of it. And so the go-go is that, plus you're now adding in an element of being able to throw the ball as well. So he's taking even more current things, like what's been the biggest revolution in college and even the NFL recently, guys? RPO. RPO has become the biggest revolution, I would say, in recent years to offenses in both college and pro sports. First it hit college, and now it's hit professional sports. Okay? And so you take that new evolution, you throw it in with the option, you throw it in with the pistol, you throw it in with misdirection and motion and constant things. And the other thing I love about Brendan Marion, by the way, is his ability to learn the game. He is constantly finding new concepts to include within the offense. So when teams throw in new plays and new looks, he's seeing those things and thinking about it. How can I throw this into my offense and change it? So it's just crazy how much of a hybrid it becomes. And see, your mom gets this. I mean, the option's still there and it still can work. It's boring football, if I'll be honest, but there's that too. Yes, technically Salter would have been great in this offense. A quarterback like that can succeed, but here's the thing, guys, that you need to realize. And again, this comes from Brennan Marion's mouth, and why this statement you don't need to worry about. Guys, bingo. But here's what Brennan Marion said himself. You do not need to be a running quarterback to be able to run the go-go offense. Okay, he said it himself. And in my video, I had that quote in there, but he talked about it. He's had running quarterbacks who've run for a crap ton of yards, but he's also had non-running quarterbacks also run for good yardage. The difference is the non-running quarterbacks, the Julian Lewises of the world, can pass better out of this system than other quarterbacks he's had. The goal of the go-go is not to just run the ball. The goal of the go-go is to put the defense on its heels and hit it where it's vulnerable. And what do you always want to do in football? Guys, what is the goal of an offense in football? To get yards and score points off of those yards. Okay? So, the idea is that you want to stretch the field. If you've got a quarterback that can stretch the field with their arms, which, by the way, a lot of running quarterbacks are not that great at doing, whether they're not accurate or can't get up the yardage, like that's why Julian Lewis in this, being able to throw the ball, being really smart and knowledgeable like he is, he's going to be able to learn this offense and absolutely excel in it. CU fans always showing the next savior before the season has begun. Again, we're having a conversation right now, Darian. No way am I saying that Brennan Marion is the savior. I'm simply explaining what his offense is, what is the point of this offense, and why it's going to be that way. Okay? Bingo. Why? Option is a pisser to defend against. Yeah, exactly. Marion said you do not need a dual threat. We've been asking for more pistol last year. This the offense for it and other things. I think the go-go offense might have more wrinkles in it than usual because he will have talent like crazy. He will get to do so many more things with this offense. Like, again, that's the key. I do like that a majority of you guys are getting this, though. I absolutely do. And when a guy like your mom understands it a little bit, too, then we know we're really cooking on something. Okay? We can be patient with it. I honestly think any quarterback can be successful in it if they can learn the offense well enough. That's true too. Juju can still run the ball, and he will run it just fine in this offense. Hey, it's true. If I'm a running back and I see this, and heck, if I'm a receiver and I see this, I want to be in this offense. I was talking to an NFL scout, by the way. Okay? An NFL scout that I know. I asked him about Omarion Miller, guys. Listen to this. Listen to this. I said, if Omarion Miller were to enter the draft right now, where do you have him? Do you have him getting drafted? And he said, yes. He actually did have him getting drafted. He said he'd be at the bottom of the draft. Okay? The bottom couple of rounds of the draft right this second. Okay? He said his 800-yard season, what he looked like this season. Yes, he has some issues. Yes, he has some things he needs to clear up. I said, if Omarion Miller comes back to Colorado, and using the go-go offense is able to up his blocking game, which I think if he's going to be on this team and he's going to play in this offense, Marion's going to make sure that Omarion Miller learns how to block and knows how to block and does it well, which, by the way, I have clips of Brennan Marion running blocking drills for his wide receivers, guys. He does blocking drills with the wide receivers. I guarantee that's coming to CU practice here shortly. Okay? So, if he comes, learns how to block, and I would say if he learns how to block and excels in this offense with the combination of chemistry he has with Juju, I don't see why Omarion Miller can't put up 1,000 yards. If he puts up 1,000 yards and can improve his blocking, that scout said that Omarion Miller would be a first or second round pick at that point. He could make a lot of money if he can bump those two things up and show what he's capable of there. So that's why I say if you're a receiver and you want to come here and you can put up you're going to get good numbers in this offense, and then you're also going to learn how to block correctly, there's going to be a lot of NFL teams that are going to be wanting that. A lot of NFL teams. He know how to make minor tweaks to everything in this offense. He can alter it based on what defense is giving him, whether it's passing, deep, mid, shallow, run, or RPO. How will we recover from the great offense, the Pat run? That's the other thing that people don't understand is just how bad this offense was. Like, anything is going to be an improvement over this. So anyone that wants to say that Colorado fans are crowning this early, don't understand what we've had the last 2 years. Coach Marion, by finding out what defense would do. Omarion Miller better get his blocking better. He won't see the field. Exactly. I watched some film of when the go-go offense was at UNLV. It was dangerous, but the quarterback couldn't pass that good. So imagine this go-go with Juju's accurate passing. I'm excited. I was watching Montez in person for years. I've been through it as a CU fan. Signed LaVisca Chenault jersey to prove it. Darian, I got to show you what I bought that's in my mailbox right now. I'll put it on my next stream. Make sure you're back. If you're a Chenault fan, you're going to absolutely love what I got. I'm super excited that I got it. I thought it was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But your little note here tells me exactly what I need to see. Omarion Miller needs to work on blocking, route running, and speed. That will up his draft spot. And that's kind of where we were getting at with that conversation about the yardage and the blocking. So absolutely. Omarion finna say F this and dip. No, he's not. Trust me. Well, that version of the offense was centered around quarterback's ability to be a runner. That's true. Anybody can say they have a signed jersey from some old player. Q6 was born for this offense. Q6 can absolutely eat. That's why Q6 shouldn't go anywhere. Guys, remember what I said at the beginning of the stream? I said that the receivers in this room now need CU more than CU needs them. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. There's no receiver in that room, as bad as it sounds. And again, I'm not talking down on those players, okay? I love the kids in this room. But right now, those receivers need CU in the go-go offense more than CU in the go-go offense needs those receivers. Okay? Do you guys get what I'm saying when I say that? So that's where it's at. Cam Michael and Q6 were born for this offense. They can absolutely kill at this offense. But again, we could find other guys similar to them if we needed to, and they would come based on this offense. I thought Chenault was going to have such a better NFL career than he's had. It sucks. I think he's been given a bad end of it. Trenches, Robbie. Yeah, that's what we need to focus on money. Do not spend money on receivers. If receivers don't want to come to Colorado because they know they're going to get paid because of how well they'll be in the go-go. Like, trust me, when I say, out of all the Sac State guys that left, I'm pretty sure Ernest Campbell is already on his way to Colorado. And the moment he can sign, he will sign. Because I think he knows that him coming and already knowing the go-go offense and knowing Brennan Marion, he's going to have a leg up over everybody. He's going to be able to come in and not only perform, but perform on a stage that's going to get him national attention now. If I'm Ernest Campbell, the moment Brennan Marion left, when I announced that, I'm already moved to Boulder waiting for it to become official. Brennan Marion going to have a staff to teach and game plan against defense. The offense is set up to make an average player look amazing. Absolutely. Imagine preparing for an offense like this on a short notice. Not only that, Steve, but here's something that not a lot of people bring up enough when talking about this, and we haven't brought it enough, and I know that people hate it. The altitude in Boulder plus the go-go is going to bring an extra element to it, guys. Buy your tickets now when the team is down, because the games in Boulder are going to be pretty darn exciting. Okay? I don't think we spend a lot of money on Edwards. I think Edwards just come because, again, he knows that he can make money in the go-go. So rather than having to get paid to come to Boulder, he's going to want to come anyway. But yes, we'll probably still get to do that. Okay? Yep. Soto from Sac State can play center as well. I like it. That's why I want to bring him in. I think he's very versatile for the interior. Ernest Campbell coming in would make sense because he knows the offense. Absolutely. I'm just happy we have a play caller. Northside, trust me. That's why I've been so elated heading into this offseason, is because that was my biggest question mark. None of the other stuff mattered unless we knew we had a really good signal caller, and we got probably the best one you could possibly get. That's why I'm excited. Yeah, I saw King Joseph Edward. I didn't realize that he went and played, by the way. He did not play at Syracuse this year. He went and played. What did he even play? I don't even know where this team was. He announced where he went and played, and I was like, dang, I didn't even know. Where did he play this year? He talked about it in his post today. Hudson Valley. King Joseph Edwards went and played at Hudson Valley. And he's back in the portal now trying to find a Power 4. What level of football is that? Community college. Yeah, he went JUCO. That's crazy. Something happened at Syracuse, and the kid will not tell anybody. Oh, he did. Like, that kid is talented and should be playing Power 4. So I wonder if it was a grades thing. I wonder at that point if it's a grades thing if he went JUCO. He wouldn't tell me. By the way, he reached out to me because I tweeted something about him in the portal, about the portal entering, and it wasn't malicious. And me and him went back and forth via private messages. And I just said, dude, no trouble, not a problem. I just said literally, I wanted to see what was going on. And he told me straight up in the chat that it was. What specifically did he say? Because I don't want to put words in his mouth. Yeah, it was just a weird thing. I get it. It's not on grades, but then where did he go? Because he said it wasn't because of the coaching staff. So why did he leave and go community college? That's crazy. C will beat Georgia Tech next year. I'm pretty sure our home environment is pretty weak, and without Haynes King next year, it'll be pretty rough. Darian, it wasn't going to be rough until I saw that you might lose Aaron Philo. Like, you're losing your whole coaching staff and Eric Philo. I mean, I don't know. He could be your mom. He can be super intelligent and just not show up to class and fail classes. Like, there's a lot of things that could happen. But dude is good. I hope. A bunch of people are tweeting him out to come to Colorado, and he says he would love to. It's just on whether or not the Buffs would recruit him. Yeah, CL3 has turned into nothing. Like, all substance. That's what you get for hyping up your commitment and all that stuff and using Colorado as clout. It seems like every guy that did that around that time has done that. Guys, the transfer portal is going to be absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. If we lose Philo, I mean, the rumor is, Darian, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. It sounds like Florida is targeting him. That's why they told DJ Lagway to kick rocks. So there's that. Yeah, I know super smart kids that Syracuse don't play. I mean, he played as a freshman. Northside? That's the problem. That's why I was excited when he hit the portal. I was like, oh, like he's actually putting up stats. I hope the Buffs give him a chance. People want Cormani back. I know they do want Cormani back. Marion said he would watch out other teams' defenses they play and figure out their weakness, then adjust the plays to beat that. That tells me everything I know. Oh, he's a huge film buff, by the way. To all those people that said our offense, you know who you are, never watched film on what was happening in game plan, Brendan Marion does not do that. Yeah, King Edwards had production as a true freshman. That's why for him to go JUCO, your mom, I do think it needed to be something like he couldn't qualify to play at Power 4. They say we might get our center back, but I'll be honest, I know he graded well, but his run blocking was suspect, getting cross-face. Good kid, though. I mean, I'd take him, guys. They don't just fall off of trees. He did well enough. So, I'd be fine. And the reason why we might get Zarian back is because of the NCAA case I talked about last year. Cormani and Dylan coming back would be a whole buzz of redemption. I just don't think it'll happen. Yeah, CU needs athletic O-lineman for the go-go. Here's the thing. I think Zarian sees the go-go, and I think he likes what he can bring to that. I think that's why he wants to fight to come back, guys. Because I think the go-go is going to make some offensive linemen a lot of money. A lot of money. I think we all will. I think we all will. Trust me. Who do you want? FB? You got to throw the name in there, too. There's definitely 6 wins on next year's schedule, but I said this year, so F it. Yeah. Zarian, he did, but that doesn't mean anything now. You can always withdraw your name now. And the reason why he might come back, he retweeted it. Today, there is a court ruling about automatic 5 years for college eligibility. So he retweeted that story because if that passes, he would have another year of eligibility left. Seton will up this. Yes, he will, because he's going to get better at run blocking. He's going to get better at pulling. Trust me, the NFL guys are going to go crazy for blockers in this scheme and what they can do. Yeah, pull another stud. Well, yeah, for sure. We're going to need offensive linemen. That's my point. That's one less offensive lineman we have to hit on for next year, because I think he can do well enough in this offense. And then we can focus on, the guard positions. CU easily could have had 6 this year, but the Salter stuff derailed the season. It was too. Yeah, absolutely, Darian. That's what I think. Yo-Yo's gonna love the go-go. He could definitely be a part of this. I think Marion can figure something out with that. And the defense took 3 games off, that's for sure. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it there. It's 5:45 my time. I appreciate you guys coming out, having fun with me today. Talking Jaheim Oatis. We'll be talking more portal here. I'll do another stream probably on Wednesday or Thursday, if possible. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter. Make sure you guys are subbed and like this video on your way out. It looks like we earned 5 new subscribers today, so I appreciate you. That gets us that much closer to the 6,000 mark. But make sure you hit that like. It always helps these streams post out. But appreciate you guys so much. Buddy, glad that you're here. Glad you're feeling a little better, maybe, about all this. Robbie as well. Hit that like on your way out. For Buffs News Weekly Live, I'm your host, Russ. Go Buffs.